achieved.
What's going on, everyone? I'm Scylol, and welcome to this week's Firefall episode. Today we'll be taking a look at the SIN system. We have a very special guest with us today to give us his insight on the system. All the way from Belgium, we have community member Hoder today. Hoder has been following the game ever since January of this year, totaling 2,200 posts on the Firefall forums. If there's anyone out there to talk to about Firefall, it's definitely this man. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Hello, so my name is Hoder, and I really didn't know I had that many posts already. I really gotta cut down. So yeah, I've been following the game a bit, and I got actively involved in the community. I wrote up a pretty big guide actually. Hits the 10k share limit in the posts quite a lot, and one of those parts is the SIN system. That's what I'm gonna be talking about here today.
Very cool. Do you want to tell us what games you played in the past? What kind of background you have?
I originally played lots and lots of games. Well, I got a PC really early on, but nothing really that mattered. My first real shooter game that I played was probably Wolfenstein in Mid-Territory. I still love the crap out of it. I still like to play it. They still actually have servers running on it, so awesome. It was also free to play, which really helped. After that, I played some Counter-Strike Source. I actually missed Counter-Strike 1.6. I don't know how I missed it, but I did. After that, like most of the people, I got sucked into World of Warcraft, and I came from League of Legends, and via League of Legends blog, I ended up at Firefall, and now I've been waiting on this game for a while to launch and play it.
Very cool. Alright, so let's get right into things. So, from what we collected so far, the SIN system seems to be some sort of in-game radar that reveals enemies' positions based on what your team has discovered. Can you explain what the SIN system is a bit more in depth?
The things you said is correct, but it's actually a lot more. They use the system as well to provide the player with dynamic missions. In the PvE world, you're gonna have to use your SIN network to pick up missions, whereas in the PvP maps, you use your SIN system to get additional information on your radar, get readings on enemies, and to help your engineers and other people out in-game.
Alright, that's cool. So that means that they're definitely aiming for like a completely team-based PvP aspect of the game with that system. Alright, how much do you think this is going to affect the gameplay?
Well, it can be critical at some times, and for some battle frames it's really critical, like the engineer. The turret from the engineer only shoots on targets that are in the SIN. So, while the turret has a small cone in front of it, almost melee range, to add people to it, you really depend on yourself and on your teammates to spot enemies into the SIN, which is abbreviated for Shared Intelligence Network. Had to get that out there. So the engineer will depend a lot on it, and it can actually help your entire team to get a reading on the enemy. If you know there's 4 inbound on the objective, it's a lot better than knowing there's probably 1 and then we heard some other shots fired, so we're unsure about it. The more info you get in gameplay, the better it is, so spotting can be a big part of it.
Very cool. So, if like an enemy runs pretty close to like an engineer turret, and it's not spotted on the SIN system, will the turret like attempt to shoot it or no?
I think Phobos said that there is a small cone in front of the turret, so if you approach it from the back and you haven't been spotted by any other enemy, you should be able to attack the turret without any consequences. Normal people, players, have to press the basic F button on the keyboard to spot enemies, so put your crosshair over them and press F to get them in your SIN system. You then show up always red. They really made that handy, so the enemy team is always red. You always show up as blue on the radar. But they also talked about stuff like SIN jammers for the recon. So we also had some on the map, Orbital Com Tower. We had some SIN towers that you could activate. They shoot up a small beacon that automatically scans the area and adds people to SIN.
Oh, that sounds very cool. So yeah, so the counter thing is almost like a counter UAV in games such as COD and stuff. Alright, so this is probably the question that everyone's waiting to hear. It's how much impact is the system going to have on high-end esports matches, and how important is it going to be for teams strategically to take advantage of the system?
Well, I'm assuming in esports everybody gonna get it automatically done. So once they press the left button to fire at the enemy, they automatically gonna press the F button to spot them as well. So you can assume that most people will be in Sin. So in esports, the real challenge will be being able to sneak around somebody's back without being totally seen, so you're not spotted, or using having smart use of the SIN jammer and what functions they are going to have in game, because they can really counter a turret from the engineer. If they don't shoot when you're not in Sin, you can get in some people through the back that are not in Sin. You can potentially kill everything the engineer set up and really wreck the defenses.
Yeah, that's really cool, because I mean, it seems like every video you see that have the creators of the game, esports is mentioned at least 10 times in that video, so that's definitely something to keep in mind. Alright, how desperate are you to get your hands on this game? And have you attended any conventions where Firefall was displayed at?
I got my hands on the game at Gamescom. Unlucky for me, I had an exam shortly after that, so I was only able to attend one day. I got my hands on the game, played 3 matches of it, absolutely loved it. It was awesome, even though we had a small memory leak at that time. It was fixed the day after, but it was awesome to play. I've been following it since January, and I recently got into beta. Yay! I'm allowed to say this. But anything else, not. The point is, it's free to play, and basically everything the developers say about the game is something like, oh yes, I want this. They're free to play, they don't sell power for money, they're focusing on the shooter first and foremost. I feel the Call of Duty series, they really gone down a lot in gameplay lately. Whereas this game really is looking at the older shooters and say, look, those guys had that stuff in the core, and that's really what we want as well. We want to be first and foremost and not be a WoW version with guns.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely seems that free-to-play games are on the rise, so they definitely had the right idea to making this a free-to-play games and no subscriptions in the game. So what are your final inspirational words to the people who will watch this video?
Keep checking out these videos. I checked out the first one, it's really informative. It was really helping me a lot. Other than that, sign up on the forums. You get chances for beta, make friends on the forums, you get increased chances for beta. Because they are using a sort of Gmail invite system where if you get invited, you can invite somebody else, etc, etc, etc. And the game is launching in December, so that's not too long from now.
Yes, I definitely agree with both of those. You should definitely keep checking our channel for videos on Firefall, and I've seen some pretty crazy contests being held on the Firefall forum, so you guys should definitely check that out. Alright, so that's all for this interview. Thanks, Hoder, for taking the time to chat with us. It's been a real pleasure, and we hope to see you in-game at launch.
I hope to see you guys before that even.
Alright, that's it, guys. Thanks to everyone that watched this video. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next week.